You already know that overthinking is costing you time and clarity. You're not here to defend it, but you are here to do something different about it today. Overthinking is survival mode. Strategy is clarity. If no one ever taught you how to think like a strategist, that will end today. Let me show you one principle from the art of war that might just change how you approach decision making from here on out. Let's get right to what's actually draining you. It's not the decision, it's the indecision. And this is where we need to be honest with ourselves about overthinking. It makes us feel like we're searching for clarity. Yes, it honestly does, and we're so genuine with it. But it's not the same thing. Clarity is focused. Overthinking is scattered. One gets you closer to the truth, while the other keeps you circling fear. And what's happening isn't deep thought. It's mental survival. Your mind is just trying to calculate every angle so you can avoid hurt, of disappointment. You're just trying to control all the outcomes that you were never meant to hold on to. Okay? That's not a strategy. That's emotional overfunctioning, and it's exhausting. We know that feeling. A strategist doesn't analyze herself into paralysis. She knows what to focus on, what to let go, and when to move. She trains for that. It's an intentional movement. That's the key here. And if no one ever taught you how to make decisions that reflect your values, not just other people's expectations, then you're going to keep second guessing. It will be your default. And that's not a weakness, but it is a sign that you need to stop and retrain how you think. And honestly, you're the only one responsible for making that shift. Sun Tzu said, "He will win whose military capacity is not interfered with by the sovereign." What does that mean for you, right? It means that even if you're capable, and we know very clearly that you are, your strategy gets blocked when you let your inner critic or the imposter voice or the need to people please override your instincts. That voice, that inner sovereign, it interrupts you with doubt just as you're about to decide on anything. And that's when you loop with indecision. That's when you hesitate. That's when you start asking questions you already know the answers to. If you're noticing this in yourself, pause right here, name it. That's the first move of a strategist, awareness. And here's the shift. Your clarity cannot grow in a mind that's constantly waiting for permission. We hear that phrasing a lot, waiting for permission. When we know what we have, we're clear on what we need to decide on, and for whatever reason, we decide not to do it. Let's second guess this. Let's second guess that. Maybe I shouldn't. Let me go ask someone else. Let me recheck the facts. That's what we're about to change next. So how do you actually start thinking like a strategist and not a second guesser, right? You train your mind. You train your mind to move through 3 questions. They're simple but powerful. Number 1, what's the mission right now? Not all decisions are created equal. When you're stuck in analysis paralysis, usually it's not because you're incapable of making the decisions or that you lack strategy that paralyzes you. It's usually the lack of clarity about what's actually relevant. You don't need to think more, you need to filter better. Number 2, what's interference and what's intel? Is this fear or fact? Is this your voice or someone else's? Your expectation, someone else's expectation. This one can get a little interesting because when you're overthinking, it feels like you're being very strategic. But there's a difference between processing and looping. Intel is useful information or insight that helps you move forward. Interference, on the other hand, is when your thoughts keep circling with no resolution or clarity. So intel is going to lead you to action, while interference is going to lead you into exhaustion. And part of us growing wiser is really just about us training our minds to recognize which is which. So to be clear, it isn't about silencing every thought. It's about filtering those thoughts, like tuning into a clearer signal. Similar to when you might be in your car and you're driving and you're searching for a good radio station. You hear a song or you hear something that sounds like it might be interesting, but there's still some sort of fuzzy sounds, static sounds in the background. So you keep fine tuning just to get to a clear sound or to your song. Sometimes you're going to miss that signal all the way completely, right? You're going to go past, maybe you're in between towns, or that signal will fade as you keep moving forward. Other times you're going to just be right on it. And this is part of trusting that not every thought is yours to chase. Some thoughts are just whispers meant to be ignored or pass by. Maybe you'll get back to them later, maybe you won't. But clarity starts when you stop entertaining every mental notification and you start listening to what's truly aligned to your values, your goals, your mission, whether it's that at that moment or long-term wise. Okay, so try this today. Write down your top 3 swirling or looping thoughts, right? You're going to label each one either interference or intel. Then you're going to make your next move based only on intel. And if you're still sort of unsure about how to tell the difference between interference and intel, interference is noise. It's everything that feels urgent but isn't useful. It's fear disguised as logic. It's emotional static. So for example, what would they think of me if I choose this? What if this flops, this fails, I waste my time again? Should I wait until I'm 100% ready? Those are all interference examples. And most of the time it's through perfectionism, right? So intel, on the other hand, it's clean, it's relevant, it's objective data. I know I work better in the morning, so I'll schedule a creative work session during that time period. Intel. My energy is dipping usually around 3 p.m., so that's not a good time for me to make decisions or major decisions, right? That's intel. I've made a similar choice before and regretted it because I didn't ask enough questions. That's intel. It's based on real results that you've experienced. Strategists filter for signals, not static. So if your thoughts are emotionally reactive, if maybe they're vague, maybe it's based on people pleasing or future tripping, your what ifs. So make the list, interference, intel, and then move on the intel. Number 3, what outcome matters most? Clarity, control, or peace? You can't always have all 3, so you need to pick one that aligns with your long-term game. This is about mental leadership. You're doing the leading and not letting your mind get away with itself. And some days that leadership is going to look like it's full on action. And then other days it's going to look like I know when to stop. This is not a moment to move yet. That's strategy. That's strength. Now, what happens when you've sorted the static, but you still feel unsure? That's when we need to zoom out. Think like a strategist with a long game in mind, remember? Let's talk about that a little bit more. Thinking like a strategist doesn't happen overnight. Think of it like a muscle you need to build with intention, patience, and some honest self-awareness. You're going to have to put in the reps, basically. Start asking yourself the tough questions and be honest with the answers. For now, though, take a breath, notice where your mind is pulling you, and try leading it like the strategist you already are.